Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Ooh, I didn't know how to start the video. And, what is up? I got a lot of things on my mind. It's gonna be one hell of a rant. I don't even know what I'm gonna say, to be honest. It's gonna be a lot of stuff, but there you go. Let's take a look around. First of all, start out on some positive notes. Is that Keith Lee made a video today talking about why he was off TV earlier this year for I think about 6 months, and it's a very telling story. He had a serious heart condition that was found by WWE medical staff, and he needed to take time off to deal with that, which is understandable. I'm glad he's still here, and I'm glad WWE medical staff was able to get that and detect it in time. I'm really glad about that. I'm a huge Keith Lee fan. I'm happy to see him back. You know, he's doing all right. He's back. That's good. Anyways, moving on. That, but, good luck, Keith Lee. I hope he continues having a good career. He's fantastic. I'm happy that was taken care of. It's a good thing, he was lucky they caught it in time. Anyway, so aside from that, I got a lot of things on my mind. First of all, I was going to say, talking about bad stuff, I watched some movies lately. A few I can mention. I'll start out with the new Space Jam, A New Legacy. This movie was trash. Holy shit, was it bad. I don't get who this movie even was made for. Like, you might say kids, but like, there's so many references to things kids wouldn't even know, like The Matrix and Casablanca. I barely know Casablanca, and I mostly know it from The Simpsons. They just shove these Looney Tune characters in the scenes, and they make no sense whatsoever. Like, Elmer Fudd is Mini-Me now, because he's small and bald. Do you get it? That's the joke. This is the kind of shit McBain would write down if he was going to write a movie, and do a comedy movie. Like, that's the joke. Do you get it? You laughing? Like, there's some stuff in there that made sense, like having Speedy Gonzalez in the Matrix. That would fit. Speedy would be in the Matrix, but then they had to go and run and have Granny in the Matrix. Why? And the plot's all over the place. Terribly named Al G. Rhythm. I was hearing people say Don Cheadle did a good job. I'm like, I guess, but I find his character so dull and uninteresting. He's just so basic. And I did not like it. I'm not trying to say the first Space Jam is an epic masterpiece or anything, but I don't think I'm wrong to say it had a coherent plot and it made sense and it knew what it was going for. Even if at best it's a popcorn, silly movie for kids and possibly basketball fans, it knew what it was doing. This movie doesn't know what the fuck it's trying to do. Well, to put better, actually, I guess I should say that, because let's put it this way. The first movie was, you could maybe say it's just an advertisement for basketball and the Looney Tunes. But it had a coherent plot that made sense, had a game and everything, and had a reason for the basketball game to happen. This movie is just a running plot to show off how many properties that Warner Brothers owns. And up to the fact that the crowd is made up of all these weird Warner Brother characters that wouldn't be at a basketball game, like the Mask is just there. Pennywise. Why wouldn't Pennywise be trying to eat people? This is so stupid. The freaking dregs from A Clockwork Orange. Literal rapists. Or had a freaking... Like, isn't that a little disturbing? I can see Scooby-Doo. And then the Mystery Machine Gang being there. The Mystery Inc. Gang, yeah. That I can see. They definitely would be the basketball game. But it's so dumb. The plot's dumb. The CGI... I hated the fact that they had Looney Tunes looking like pretty good in cartoon form. They made them CGI for no reason, and they looked horrible. Not all of them, but most of them looked like ass. Like, Tweety looked okay. Anyway, That was a long rant. Instead of watching that, I'd say go watch the Suicide Squad because that movie was fantastic. I loved it. Or go watch the Long Halloween Part One and Part Two, the Batman, the new Batman animated feature. That especially Part Two. Those are great movies. Great animation, just terrific. Way, way better than the horrible abomination it is. Space Jam 2. A new legacy. Yeah, legacy of poop. Legacy of trash. And that's not what I was going to talk about in this video. And I've been having, I feel a little better now, you know, I don't feel sick. That's good. But I've been having a whole thing with people lately where, you know, when I say people, I don't mean, not like outside, just like online. I've been having a lot of disagreements lately with people. And I think one of my main issues is that there's people that just seem to exist. May not exist only, but they seem to get off just being so contrary and just come up with the stupidest bullshit to try to piss you off, and it makes no sense. And either they might actually believe some of the stuff they say, but I feel like that's what they're trying to do to get your goat, to get you going, and get you riled up. And it's so stupid. And I don't really care that much. I try not to care. Because I mostly see through what they're doing. Like, one of the things I just don't like is people making up bullshit lies with no evidence to back them up. And then when you show them, hey, you know, you're wrong, we tell them, hey, I looked it up and you're fucking full of shit. You know, maybe you say, oh, I looked it up, you're wrong. They come back with either ignoring you or they try to bring up some other point that has literally nothing to fucking do with the point. Like today, I had a person who I thought I was pretty cool terms with. He's kind of a dude that he kind of makes some weird jokes sometimes, but I thought he's just kind of a silly dude, you know. And some of his jokes I didn't really care for, not at my expense. You know, this is just him like meme stuff. You know, he's on the timeline, he's having fun. I didn't really take him that seriously. And he starts on about some. He didn't start the thing. Some other idiot who is more of a piece of shit says about vaccines that maybe he'd be more inclined to take a vaccine if Fauci didn't lie. Now, I am not a Fauci whatever cultist or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the fuck these fucking morons are saying. I don't. He's a doctor and he's a man. Like I'm just saying. I just told the dude. Cause I've heard this fucking argument before that Fauci lied, and I looked into the bullshit that they were saying he was lying about. It wasn't so. It was misrepresented by a bunch of shitty conservatives who are making shit up because they basically want to kill every person in the country because their egos demand that they don't want to wear masks or take vaccines or whatever, so they have to scapegoat and blame because they're all fucking psychopathic pieces of shit that are miserable and completely far gone. Yet, when I said toxic stupidity was gonna infect us, I was not far off, was I? Holy shit, did I call that one? I think I said about call for an uprising. Fuck, I wish that was just a level of toxic stupidity. We had like idiots like that on the internet. Oh no, we have way worse now. Shit spreads left and right. But anyway, I seen this shit before, and basically it was somebody trying to say, oh well, he said that masks didn't work, and this was like an email. He was answering a question in like January of 2020 when he, and then later on he came to clarify like, okay, masks do work. It was like a thing where he was wrong. And see, that's the thing that I don't really like is these people who make a big deal about someone saying something and later correcting themselves and like, oh, I was wrong about that, without realizing, yeah, why is that an issue? If somebody's gonna admit they're wrong and correct themselves, like, that's kind of the point of science. You're trying to fucking learn shit. That's why we keep moving forward, like motherfuckers. I've been watching a lot of Dr. Stone lately. Like, the whole idea there is that you keep doing science and keep understanding things, and things you thought you once knew you don't know. You learn. That's good. You move forward. You push civilization forward. So, anyway, I'm kind of going off point. Point is, I checked this before and I knew the guy was full of shit. And of course, this being a conservative, this was a conservative Reddit page where this meme was posted before. And of course, they blocked me as soon as I tried to correct them because they're fucking little cowardly chicken shits. But this person, excuse me, soon as I told him he didn't lie, and I told him something about you probably got your information from or stop believing bullshit media. Because I hear so many times people trying to tell me I believe the media. I don't even know what that means. Because anybody who's getting news is gonna get it from somewhere. Like you realize that, right? Like you say the media, literally the media is anything. Like I saw a conservative being there, they said like media accountability, and it was like in the shredder. And that was the entire meme. So like, so no media now, no media of any kind is in any way factual. Don't believe any media. Doesn't matter if it's a blog, a YouTuber, a podcast, a newspaper, a channel. None of it, all of it's fucking fake now. It's all bullshit. You can't believe a word anybody says. If somebody on the street tells you that, hey, man, they're giving away, they have like 50-cent cheeseburgers at McDonald's, even them, you can't believe them. They are lying to you because they're part of the media. You see how ridiculous this shit is? So I was just trying to make the joke about that, like, oh, you know, you're believing bullshit media. This dude immediately starts going in about. First of all, I don't remember his exact reference. Oh, he said he heard him say it on TV. I looked into this. The lie they're talking about is not even. There's no proof that he lied. He's being investigated, but there's nothing like that says concrete he lied. It's allegations that he lied. First of all, and second of all, then this motherfucker gonna come at me with the, well, you have Antifa in your bio, so basically trying to tell me I'm full. It's just like, well, if you're not Antifa, what are you, fucking fascist? You fucking idiot. At that point, I kind of lose all respect for you because you're basically showing that you. I literally told his ass, oh, so you support fascists then. And I'm like typical fucking conservative. I figure that they're little dipshit conservative. Cause I don't give a fuck. I don't know this dude. He pissed me off though. If you're gonna come at me stupid and try to claim, first of all, you heard on TV. And like, well, what was said on TV? Because you could have heard anything. You could have heard Rand Paul saying that he lied. That doesn't mean that he fucking lied. You fucking dumbass. And so yeah, that led to he was saying that, so I was making fun of him for that. Saying the thing about Antifa, then started telling me about how he disavowed the January 6th. I don't know if he called it terrorist act. I think he called it like riots and protests, but he also disavowed the protests in the summer, and he called it riots. He didn't call them protests. And I told his ass, oh, you mean the ones that were 96% peaceful and usually only escalated from peaceful when they only escalated when somebody else usually provoked them. This is confirmed. Like, this is known knowledge. I literally said that. Also, one of the big things was there was a one of the police stations that was lit on fire. It was literally started the fire was done by a cop, an off-duty officer, which we have video footage of, and his ex-wife confirmed it was him. So then this dude told me something about CNN, like, oh, I got my news from CNN. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I have never watched CNN. Ever. Like, the most amount of CNN I probably ever watched was like a YouTube video. And even that, I wouldn't say I watched a full video. Like, I watched maybe somebody talking about something that happened on CNN. I don't even know the channel CNN is on. That's how little fucking CNN I know of. If anything, the most news I watch is probably like local news, and that's just catching glances when other people are watching it. I don't watch CNN. I don't know. These fucking dumbass dipshit sheep just keep saying these lines. I literally told him when he said this, I said, you sound just like a sheep because all y'all do is spout the same nonsense about me watching CNN. I don't watch CNN, dude. Like, you don't want to believe your own lies. And then this other dude, who again, like I said, I've been pretty cool with, jumps in. And first he said the thing about the Antifa, he replied to him like, well, first of all, I was, when he said socialist in his bio was when I didn't want to listen to him. It's like, you know, disregard my opinion because I have socialist in my bio. It's like, okay, you're basically just saying you think I have nothing of value to say because I said I'm a socialist. Then by that point, I basically can just tell you fuck off. Then you mean nothing to me. You're a shithead. Because I didn't come at this dude and tell him, oh, you have nothing of value to me because you're a capitalist or whatever. Because I could easily say that, but I don't feel that way. I'm not going to say that about somebody. because they're capitalists, you know. I don't like capitalism, but I'm not gonna say that about capitalist people. You know, people are capitalists. There's some people who are capitalists that are good. And what's funny is this dude has a pinned tweet about how, oh, you know, question everything. And yet, here you are spouting some nonsense about I'm a socialist, so therefore my opinion ain't worth jack shit. It's like, what are you fucking questioning, man? What kind of rebel are you? You're just eating up the same shit, the same brainwashing bullshit we've been fed for like 30 years of this fucking country. Or for fucking 50 years. For 60 years. Like, look, you don't have to be a socialist, but let me ask you something. Don't you ever find it strange that the government tried to ban communism? Like, the idea of communism in the 50s and 60s, the McCarthyism area. I think it was actually the 40s, 50s. Have you ever heard them trying to ban any other type of system like that? Think about that for a minute. And while you think about that, think about the fact that this fucking country arrested people not long after that for doing dirty jokes on stage in nightclubs with adults. Think about that. They literally arrested people for saying fucking shit and ass and piss and cocksucker and pussy either. Think about that before you start jumping in with your, yeah, but socialism's bad. Like, this wasn't a socialist society that did this, and this was definitely a democratic society that did this. And this was America that did this in this before I was born. But keep in mind, while I was born, there was a band called Two Live Crew that was arrested for playing their albums in a club because they said they were too obscene, despite the fact that people in the club wanted to hear the albums or doing. I think it was doing the show. Yeah, doing the show. Think about that shit. Look at Harley Quinn. Oh, look at the Demogorgon over there. Do 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 do. Anyway, I feel like I've gone on such a long tangent. I've lost the plot. Oh, and okay. So then this dude, the dude that I guess I was kind of cool with, let's just call him, he had a name like Cracker, so let's call him Cracker. That's not me saying anything bad. It's just the name he was using was Cracker. Okay? Okay, are we good on that? Alright. So Cracker starts at saying something to me about, I don't remember what, I think it was a reply to my response to the other guy about, you're a sheep. Starts telling me, oh yeah, you know, just put, first he made a joke about, oh, put more stuff in your bio, put Captain Virtue Singular. Because like I have, like Black Lives Matter in my bio, feed the homeless. Because yes, I'm Virtue Singular, like, of course, me, I'm a clout chaser. Fucking dumbass. Like, one thing you can say about me, said I'm pretty damn legit about most of the shit I care about. Clearly, I get too worked up by the shit I care about. Just saying the other day how I keep getting accused of not caring enough, or caring too much, or not caring at all, and it's like, fuck you. If you know who I am, whatever. I'm not gonna take this shit no more. I'm done with fucking people. I've had my whole life people trying to understand me, and they don't even know who the fuck I am. If you're my friend and you're my homie, you're someone I can chill with, we can get along with, we're good, and you know who I am. My time, I might have opinions change, but for the most part, I am the same person. I've always been very, very for justice and helping people and doing right and equality and all that. Like since I was a kid. I mean, what do you expect for someone who grew up on like the X-Men and Spider-Man? Of course, I'm gonna be for that. I'm gonna be for treating people good, not having people treated differently because of who they are as people, who they're born as, or if they choose to love. You know what I'm saying? Or what race they are, or anything like that. I'm always going to stand up for those rights, and I always have. And I also have always been, as somebody who grew up poor, I kind of know the way poor people are treated in this country. Pretty shittily. Not just this country, but a lot of countries. And it only became later on I started realizing, hey, maybe the problem is capitalism, not just, the government being a shithead. Although that's a huge part of it. So as you can see, I don't like the government. Clearly, I'm making that clear right now. I don't like the government, I like some things Biden did, but also fuck Biden. He's done a lot of fucked up shit, like giving more money to the police. Which brings me to my next point about Cracker. Cracker comes back with me saying something about how, okay, sure, whatever, just keep believing the government, what the government tells you. So I replied like all sarcastic, I'm like, I don't even like the government, dude. Like, the government just gave more millions of dollars to the police, and I don't like that. Why would I support the government? Like, kind of laughing about it, because it's such a ridiculous claim. Like, if anything about what I tweet, there's plenty of times I will retweet and tweet lots of shit about how I don't care for the government. I don't. Biden's a better president than Trump. That ain't saying a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole separate issue there too I could talk about. Anyway, there's just like a whole lot of cynicism. And then Cracker came back with, like, listen to this. This dude was literally accusing me of loving the government and trusting the government, right? I have to basically tell him I don't like the government because they give money to police. They get millions of dollars. And keep in mind, story I retweeted about a month ago that you could look into yourself was about there was a police were caught altering mugshots to match somebody they wanted to bust. They just only got found out about later. And there's a whole bunch of other shit like that, like the West Memphis Free, which I don't think the police tampered with evidence, but people went to jail for not even doing a crime, for not even being murderers for years, for decades. So you can see why I don't fucking care for the police. That's not even getting into the fact that police randomly kill people and basically face no consequences. And a lot of times there's corruption exposed, and people, the good eggs, if you will, the good apples, try to stop this corruption. They try to report it, and what happens? They either get fired or suspended or moved to another precinct, moved to another, police thing. Like, there's a movie of Al Pacino called Serpico that is really good for showing like how police corruption works, because that's literally how it fucking goes. Basically, they will all turn their back on the one guy trying to stop them from doing wrong, and then try to make him look like the bad guy, and if they have to, kill him off because they don't care. And the whole thing about I keep hearing the quote about, oh, it's a few bad apples. A few bad apples spoiled a bunch. That's what the quote is. You're not even saying the whole quote. But anyway, so he comes back with me after telling me, that the government, that I believe what the government tells me, and I came back with, hey, I don't even like the government because they give money to cops. Literally, this dude who told me that I was a cracker, who told me I'm a socialist, so basically my opinion doesn't matter, snaps back with, they deserve that money. Keep in mind, they're already getting millions of dollars a year. Now, I'm not trying to say every cop gets a million. That's ridiculous. No, of course not even a year. I'm saying there's big police organizations that are getting millions of dollars each year. They get a bunch of money. They have military-grade weaponry. This is a fucking fact. You can look this up. There's shit they're not even supposed to use in war that they've used on people. This is proven fact. This isn't even like that hard to find. And this dude comes back with well, they deserve that money and they're braver than you will ever be. At this point, Cracker, I blocked his fucking ass because I did not want that bullshit. I don't want him spreading these lies on my timeline if I can help it. But I was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. Like, he just basically showed his entire fucking ass. Like, I don't think, maybe he doesn't really believe half the shit he's saying. He's just trying to annoy me. He reminds me of another guy I used to know on Twitter who tried to say he was my friend, but every single time I talked, I didn't consider my friend. Every time I talked to him, it would just be him pulling shit out of his ass, like to argue with me for no reason. And then sometimes try to act like, oh, what's the big deal? Like, he had a thing where, like, I was talking about how transphobes love to use the idea of somebody pretending to be a woman to use a woman's bathroom to assault somebody, which has never happened, ever. Like, you could look it up yourself. Again, there's not been one instance of this ever happening. And so I basically made a joke about how, it's like them basically, like if somebody tried to say we should ban Batman movies because people might dress up like Batman to beat the shit out of people because nobody will find them because they're Batman. And this dude came back with some argument about, that there wasn't nobody who dressed up like Batman, but there was a guy who was acting like the Joker, or dressed up like the Joker in Dark Knight Rises. It was killing people. That was a horrible tragedy. I want to point that out. That was terrible. It was fucking horrible. But first of all, that is not close to what I said. I said Batman, dressing up like Batman, not dressing up like Joker. And the guy didn't dress up like the Joker. He was saying he was the Joker and killing people. This piece of shit. And also, this has happened in other movies since then. Nobody talks about the fact this happened in the movie Trainwreck, the Amy Schumer movie. Nobody even remembers that shit. But it happened there too. There was a shooting there. So should we ban Amy Schumer movies by that logic? I mean, there might be other reasons to ban Amy Schumer movies. But anyway, that's what I mean. Like, this guy was trying to get my goat. And I told him like, oh, okay, your point is stupid. Like he wasn't even dressed up as Batman. In that instance, it'd be good if somebody dressed up as Batman because maybe they would have beat the shit out of the Joker. You know what I'm saying? And then he tries to come back with starts talking about Jessica Yaniv, who is a trans woman who was like sexually harassing some women in a thing, waxing place, like a place where you get waxed. I think it's actually a tanning salon or something like that. Place where you get waxed. Yeah, okay, that did happen. He brought that up. I'm like, okay, that happened. That's not the same thing of what I just said. That's not somebody. First of all, it's still a trans woman, and that has nothing to do with them. They didn't do that. They were the whole thing was like them bothering people. They didn't go into a woman's bathroom to do that. And also, who the fuck even remembers Jessica Yaniv? And I brought up the point like, so what? Are you gonna mention R. Kelly and Anthony Kiedis? Because the fact that they are literal pedos and like nobody brings that up, like you're gonna use that to punish all cis people by your logic. And then this dude just like came back with something like, "Hey man, just chill out, don't get so mad." So I'm like, see, like the dude was just trying to get my goat, and at some point he either blocked me or he left Twitter. I don't know. I was not his friend. There was one time he shouted me out. It was like, "Oh, you're cool" or something, and I think it was his way of trying to. It shocked me. Like trying to make me feel like, "Oh yeah, he's my friend," but he reminds me of a guy I used to know named. Uh, let's just call him Cartman because he acted a lot like Cartman. It's a guy who would act like he's your friend, but he would annoy the piss out of you, but then he'd laugh at you. He'd like, "Hey man, don't get mad." He's like, "You're fucking making me mad, bro." That's the whole thing, man. I really hate this idea. Like, first of all, I hate the idea people spread. I'm kind of disappointed, but spreading these lies and bullshit, and then I don't want to have to go around correcting people's lives all the fucking time. And I really probably shouldn't even get involved with this bullshit, but I just get so sick of it. Like, these fucking conservatives, man, spreading this bullshit lies about Fauci and COVID, and like, you should get vaccinated if you can. If you're able to, please get vaccinated. That's important. And wear a mask too after you get vaccinated. That's very important. I want to make that clear. These fuckers are not helping, especially when I'm in a state with a piece of shit governor that's fucking literally sitting here trying to tell other people in the state, people doing their fucking jobs like mayors and shit, that they can't pass mask mandates for kids in schools because that's not what he wants. He doesn't want people to mask mandate. Like, fuck you, Greg Abbott. I doubt you ever see this, but you're a fucking piece of shit. You're a disgrace to America, to Texas, to humanity. You're a disgrace to men. You're a disgrace to cis men. You're a disgrace to white men. You're just a fucking disgrace, man. Like, you're a fucking piece of shit, man. Fuck you. I don't believe for a second you're doing this shit for any reason other than to be the biggest asshole you could possibly be and kiss the ass of all your little Republican buddies. If this guy really gave a fuck about protecting the people of Texas, he would have been doing some shit about when the people people who were sick or dying when the pipes were frozen. And there was a big winter frost here. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't do shit. He was about as useless as Ted Cruz. I wish him and Ted Cruz would both go to Cancun forever and stay there because they're fucking useless. We do better out of here, one of these fucking idiots. We basically proved it because the mayors of these other counties and the states, these other towns are stepping up more than this fucker, and he's mad about that. Fucking useless cunt. better them than you, motherfucker. Ah, what a shithead. Also, there's a YouTuber I saw tweet that if you stand for mass mandates, you're a piece of shit. Well, this fucking YouTuber lives in Texas. I'm not gonna say his fucking name, but he's a piece of fucking garbage himself because he's an anti-vaxxer, he's an anti-masker, and he also made a whole video where he was saying that the only reason they want your kids in school is because they want to indoctrinate them in leftist policies and brainwash them. His words. And he gave no proof of this whatsoever. He just rambled for like 10 minutes saying, "See, that's what they want. They want to brainwash your kids." Like some conspiracy nut job. Like he was called for an uprising or some shit, except he's actually on camera and you can see his face. So at least he's not that big of a coward. But he's still a fucking asshole. And the same dude has made statements before. I can't say for sure, but he at least seemed like he's a guy who is pretty non-accepting of non-binary people. Because he straight up laughed one time at a character being non-binary. Just straight up busted a gut laughing. So yeah, like he's calling people piece of shit. Yeah, well you're a piece of shit first, asshole. It takes a piece of shit to know one. You're a biggest piece of shit. You live in my state. Can you fucking go? Can you take Joe Rogan with you too, you asshole? Fuck's sake, man. Like, you're still gonna spread your toxic stupidity from your YouTube videos out to the rest of the world, out to the rest of the country. But can you just leave my state so at least when y'all fuck up, y'all are sitting there spreading the shit, you damn bastards? You and Joe Rogan, and go take Greg Abbott and take Ted Cruz, all you fuckers, just please leave the state. Go any other state, please. Just at least let the competent people here do their fucking job, you piece of dog shits. Man, y'all all dog shit. Joe Rogan, you don't know why I like Joe Rogan. He's a lion sack of shit too, but there's a whole lot of stuff about him. Basically, the biggest one is that he misrepresented what a scientist was saying. But this dude also was famous for last year. Thanks to him like telling people to go to his friend's concert, he got a lot of people infected with COVID. This is a fucking fact, and this dude still has a platform and has millions of listeners. And why do y'all listen to this piece of shit? He's also spread all kinds of transphobic lies and shit. He, for years, was very transphobic about trans women in sports. Until he basically, I think, changed his tune, kind of. Recently, I don't think he ever, like, even admitted he was wrong. He just kind of went like, oh, well, you know. This shithead motherfucker. Bald bastard. I used to think Joe Rogan was cool, man. Like, from a glance, he seems like a cool guy. He seems like a cool uncle. Like, the stoner uncle. You're like, hey, man. But he, like a stoner uncle I actually had. He's very similar to that guy because once you get to know him, oh, he's shitty. Not that I know Joe Rogan personally, obviously, but just based on reputation of the way he acts. And I'm almost running out of time, but I've ranted a lot. Fucking tell I'm pissed off. Shit pissed me off. One other thing I want to say is that I'm not gonna mention names, but you probably know who I'm talking about here. But like, other than Joe Rogan, I mentioned him. So there's a trans person who did something very deplorable recently. She's fucking horrible for that. She did something just awful, disgusting. But a lot of people have taken this opportunity to misgender her. And I don't agree with that at all. I don't think you should misgender somebody just because you don't like what they did. Because if that was okay, then I could just misgender Blair White because I don't like anything that she does or she stands for. She's fucking horrible. Caitlyn Jenner, another trans woman I don't care for. She's fucking despicable. That one trans guy that I saw actual Jake talking about is like he's like the new Blair White, if you will. I'm not gonna misgender him because I don't believe you should misgender trans people just because you disagree with them. And if you sit here going, well, fuck them, they don't deserve the respect. Let me ask you this: are you literally gonna sit here and tell me you're gonna misgender people you don't agree with, who are horrible people who are cis? Like, let me give you an example. Are you gonna sit here and like R. Kelly, that pedo motherfucker? You're gonna go, hey man, R. Kelly's a horrible woman. You know, she's disgusting. She's terrible. She deserves everything she gets. She's a monster. No, you're literally gonna go, oh, he's a monster. You're not gonna sit here and say she, Don't pretend like that's what you're gonna do because you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit. I've never heard anybody say any shit like that. Or anybody, serial killer. Like, nobody ever was like, oh, Ted Bundy is a girl. Like, no, you're fucking gonna call him a guy. You're gonna call him a monster and a piece of shit. And I don't